All right, everybody. DOGust is upon us, and I'm back with another one. This is part of the DOGust reading event started by Paul over at Geeks Love Dogs. I will put a link to his channel in the description if you want to go over there and keep up with everything that's happening with DOGust. What is DOGust? It's a reading event. If it's got a dog in it, it counts. If it's canine, it's inline, just whatever story or piece of media or book, fiction, nonfiction, whatever you want. It's got to be about dogs in some capacity. So for this one, I've got Dog Song by Gary Paulson. And if you went to any middle school in the United States since the year 1985, you've probably read his book Hatchet as part of your English grammar and composition classes. This one here, Dog Song, this one was published in 1985. And you know it's an old book because they still say Eskimo and not Inuit or some other more contemporary phrasing for these polar region peoples. That might get me in trouble too, who knows. Anyway, what's this one about? There's this young fella, he's about 13, 14, his name is Russell, and he's a young man coming into his own, and he's deeply dissatisfied with the state of the world he's living in. He doesn't exactly know how to phrase it, doesn't know exactly how to identify it, but there's some point of contention he has with the modernization of the modern world, with the noise of it, the way it tends to disrupt the people and animal life and the dependence people have on machines instead of on the craft of their own hands and their own doing. So he gets a bit of advice. Russell, he gets a bit of advice from his father to go visit this one old man. He's the oldest man in the town or in the village. I forget which way they said it. But he's the oldest person. He's the one who most clearly remembers the old ways. And this is important. He's the only one in town who still has a dog sled team. He has 5 dogs he keeps. They haven't been run on a sled in years. But he's the last person here who has a team of dogs. And this old man, the village is very small. Everybody knows one another and all this stuff. So Russell and the old man, they know each other already. And the old man agrees to sort of teach Russell these old ways, like the way things used to be. And they just start. Russell moves in with this guy, and he just starts telling stories about the way things used to be, like the old life. You know what I mean? The old life before rifles, before snow machines, snowmobiles to get you across the ice, before the noise of motors and electricity and televisions and all this sort of thing. And all the point of this is the old man is preparing Russell for this one final test, this one moment. Well, it's not one moment. It's this long succession of moments, but this is one large event that will finally bring Russell into his own. And this is the old man goes out with Russell one day on the sled, and the old man knows it's his time to die, and he's going to sit here on the ice and let death come at him. He's ready for it. He expects it. He's fine with going on. And he sends Russell north. He just tells him to go north as far as you care to go. And then once you get up there and decide you've had enough of it, that you'll had enough of it, you go as far north as you care to go, and something will change on you. You will discover something about something, and it will change you, right? And then you can return. Is the whole thing. So Russell ends up doing this, and he has this succession of encounters with this dream state where he dreams about the prehistory of his people, like before the white men came into the Arctic, and back when there were still like woolly mammoths and people were hunting those, and it reflects with the experiences he's having as he's awake in this whole push and pull of Russell rediscovering his ancestry through his own experiences, in a sort. What does that have to do with dogs? Well, there is the Dogsled Team, and as it's put in here, is like the Dogsled Team, as Russell is moving more and more towards this place of the old ways. He begins to see the Dogsled Team as an extension of himself, right? Himself, the sled, the dogs, as all one living thing. And not just the dogs as an extension of himself, but himself as an extension of the dogs. Like it's a holistic organism working in concert to achieve some end. Like he's the head of the beast. He's the one that calls the shots, but he has the trust in his dogs and in the dog team leader to of their own accord, make decisions that are best for the sake of the sled as a whole. Right? So as he gets more and more into these old ways, he becomes more and more a part of the Dogsled team. It's an interesting type of story. It doesn't promise. It doesn't make it look easy. It doesn't make it look desirable, but it does highlight a sort of nobility, I think, that comes in remembering where you've come from, the way things used to be. Not that all those things are necessarily good of themselves, but that there are things, there are virtuous and noble things within our past that are good to hold on to and to remember and to contemplate on these things. Even in the midst of trials and tribulations, like some things are going to be incredibly harsh. Like there's some scenes in this book, like it's for middle school students. The back of this copy says it's good for ages 10 and up, and I think that's about right. But there's some tough scenes to chew on. Now, if it was done in an adult novel, it would probably be, I might think a little bit different, but it'd be more dependent on the way it was handled. But here it's very very succinct, very classy. Gary Paulson knows who he's talking to, and he's able to lay things out in such a way for that middle school mind to grab a hold of and to contemplate on. It's very good at like leading you to ask certain questions and to think about it and to talk about it. And I can imagine. I may have read this when I was a kid. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I did. But I can remember if I gotten this in a classroom with a bunch of my buddies. Like I would have gone out on the playground and have played out some of these scenarios. Like you find a bitsy rope and you take turns being the head of the sled while your buddies take turns being the dogs and like rushing around. And there's a point in here where Russell fights a polar bear, and that's great. There's a bunch of stuff that like middle school students would have imitated just in their play, but that's also a mechanism of them, the idea is soaking in for them to contemplate, and so that years later maybe they read it again and it becomes a little bit they recognize a bit more of its depth. A little bit of the mist and the fog clears away from their recollection and they can see it a bit deeper. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I would recommend reading it. It's just a YA book. It's pretty short if you can get a hold of it. Where is it? There we go. Here's another one. This one has a Dogsled Teams in it, though it's not so much about dogs and not so much particularly an element of the book. But this is The Last Gentleman Adventure. This was written by Edward Beauclerk Maurice, and this is feels interesting. He's an Englishman who joined in with a Canadian trading outpost, and so he was as part of this outpost, he was serving a 3-year contract in the Arctic Circle, servicing the what word am I supposed to use? Inuit communities with rifles and tea kettles and just different whatever was at a trading post and trading in furs and all that sort of thing. His experiences doing that, he's one of the few guys who went up there and actually learned the language of the local tribe he was stationed with. And so for that, what do they call him? My memory's not so bad, and I probably won't say this right, but they called him Isu Matok, or some approximation of that, which, according to this book, means the man, the one who thinks, right? Because he went to the trouble of actually learning to communicate with these people in their own language. And so if you're just interested in life in the Arctic Circle and the Inuit peoples, I think this is a pretty good book to look at. It's just an interesting life, interesting experiences all the way through. Now, that's about probably all I'm going to have for DOGust. I might have something else up by the end of the month if I can get around to doing it. I'm not sure, but it has been pretty fun. I've been able to look at a couple things I probably wouldn't have otherwise. Gone back to a couple things to refresh my memory about some stuff. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and I appreciate Paul taking the time to invite me into this thing. Like I say, if you want more DOGust stuff, you can go over to his channel and subscribe, and he'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening across any channel that remembers to tag him in their DOGust video. If you want to join in, it's really easy. If it's canine, it's inline, anything with a dog in it, just pick it up and read it. And when you're done, make a little video talking about what you thought of it. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that. So I'll talk to you later.